John Sangwa's church strategy exposed. MNR's plan to win 1 million voters. Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of the InspirAfrica official. I'm Nakash. Well, what a week it has been in Zambian politics, hasn't it? The usual storms, the usual theatrics, but today we're going to talk about something that might just reshape the entire 2026 electoral landscape. Our lead story, the church strategy, John Sangwa's secret weapon to build a million-strong movement. Picture this. A senior counsel, one of Zambia's most respected constitutional lawyers, walks away from a 3-decade legal career at the firm he founded. He abandons the courtroom for the campaign trail. He announces an audacious plan: 1 million supporters by December 31st, 2025. And then, in a move that has sent shockwaves through the political establishment, he walks through the doors of Archbishop Alec Banda's office, seeking not just counsel, but something far more powerful: moral capital. But here's where the story gets interesting. Is this simply a political courtesy call? Or is it the opening move in a calculated chess game to capture Zambia's most influential voting bloc, the church-going faithful? What happens when a man of law becomes a man of politics and decides that the path to power runs through the pulpit? When intellectual authority meets spiritual endorsement, who really holds the upper hand? And in a nation where Sunday morning attendance rivals any political rally, what does it mean when a presidential hopeful courts the church before he courts the voter? Is this political strategy or spiritual manipulation? Is it brilliant grassroots mobilization or a dangerous blurring of the lines between church and state? And perhaps most urgently, if John Sangwa succeeds in turning Zambia's churches into his political launching pads, what does that mean for the sanctity of worship spaces and for the integrity of the 2026 elections? The revelation came to light just hours ago when the Zambian Observer broke the story. John Sangwa, SC, leader of the Movement for National Renewal, and his political partner Dalaka Banda, met with Archbishop Alec Banda this morning. The meeting took place at the Archbishop's office in Lusaka. According to insiders close to the MNR leadership, this wasn't a spontaneous visit. It was strategic, deliberate, a carefully planned outreach designed, as sources put it, to lend moral capital to their emerging movement. Let's rewind the clock to understand how we got here. On October 12, 2025, John Sangwa made a stunning announcement. He would be stepping away from active legal practice at Simiza, Sangwa and Associates, the very firm he co-founded over 3 decades ago. The decision, he said, was about sacrifice. "We cannot rebuild Zambia without sacrifice," Sangwa declared. "And my decision to step away from the firm I founded is one such sacrifice." But this wasn't just about leaving the law behind. It was about launching something new, the Movement for National Renewal, MNR. A civic movement he claimed would be devoted to rebuilding our nation on the foundations of integrity, truth, and constitutional discipline. The goal: 1 million registered supporters by December 31st, 2025. After hitting that target, Sangwa promised, the movement would transform into a full-fledged political party. Within weeks, the alliances began forming. First came Dalaka Banda, a presidential candidate in her own right, who joined forces with Sangwa approximately 3 weeks ago. Then, just 2 weeks ago, Jackson Salavwi, leader of the Golden Party of Zambia, announced his party would align with the MNR. But all of this, the partnerships, the million-supporter target, the calls for national renewal, it was missing something. It was missing the one ingredient that transforms a political movement in Zambia from abstract intellectual exercise to tangible electoral force: the blessing of the church. And that's exactly what happened this morning. According to the Zambian Observer, Archbishop Banda offered Sangwa and Banda counsel, encouragement and prayer. A gesture described as signaling growing curiosity within religious circles about Sangwa's political intentions. The timing couldn't be more significant. With voter registration currently underway across Zambia and the 2026 general elections less than 9 months away, Sangwa's church outreach comes at a critical moment. Now, let's hear from the players themselves. What exactly is John Sangwa saying about his strategy? In his October 12 statement announcing the formation of MNR, Sangwa was clear about his vision. He wrote, "When I issued a call to national reflection, I posed 10 questions of conscience, not to advance a political ambition, but to awaken a sense of national duty. Those questions were meant to remind us that Zambia's transformation cannot begin with leaders alone. It must begin with citizens who are ready to embrace discipline, accountability, and unity under Article 43 of the Constitution. Then came the line that would define his entire campaign strategy. After much reflection and prayer, I have decided to step away from active legal practice. Notice that phrase, after much reflection and prayer. This wasn't coincidental language. From the very beginning, Sangwa has been weaving spiritual terminology into his political messaging. But it was in a recent Prime TV one-on-one interview that Sangwa revealed just how much is riding on his million-supporter target. Listen to what he said. If I fail to get 1 million supporters, I'll know Zambians don't believe in me. Countries are built by the best brains coming together, people with the best experience. Nations are built by the best brains and experience coming together, not by thuggery, arrogance, or intimidation. He continued, if my track record does not inspire public confidence, then no amount of words can convince people otherwise. This is a man who has put his entire political credibility on the line. 1 million supporters, or bust. And how does he plan to reach that audacious target? According to sources familiar with the MNR strategy, the church represents what they call the most powerful platform where one could interact with potential voters. In fact, just last week, another political figure, Kings Malembe, spoke openly about the church strategy in Zambian politics. While defending his own use of church platforms, Malembe said, the church is one of the most powerful platforms where one could interact with potential voters. For you to disseminate information, you go to where people are. The church is one of the places where people are. Church is where you find a lot of people. Church is where sober people are, and that's where you can share your information. He went even further. Spiritual people are not vulnerable. They will draw the line between the truth and the lies. It's not wrong to campaign in church. Now, Sangwa himself hasn't made such explicit statements about using churches as campaign grounds. But his actions speak volumes. Meeting with the Archbishop, seeking what insiders describe as moral capital, and doing so at this precise moment in the electoral calendar, it all points to a deliberate strategy. In the joint statement announcing their partnership, Sangwa and Dalika Banda laid out their vision. Through the MNR, we call upon like-minded Zambians from all walks of life, provinces, and communities to join us in this national cause for renewal. Our immediate goal is to mobilize 1 million supporters by December 31st, 2025, united by conscience, conviction, and a desire to rebuild Zambia on a foundation of truth, transparency, accountability, through the power of the voter's card. They added, by all intents and purposes, this is more than an alliance. It is a national awakening, a solemn call to renewal. A national awakening. A solemn call. These are the words of spiritual revival as much as they are political rhetoric. So what are we really looking at here? What are the broader implications of a presidential hopeful actively courting church leadership in the lead-up to a national election? Let's start with the strategy itself. In Zambia, the church isn't just a place of worship. It's a cornerstone of social life, community organization, and yes, political influence. Sunday services often draw larger crowds than political rallies. Pastors and bishops command respect that rivals, and sometimes exceeds, that of elected officials. For a political newcomer like Sangwa, someone who admits he's politically untested despite his legal gravitas, the church represents a shortcut. It's instant access to organized, attentive audiences. It's the stamp of moral authority. It's the difference between being seen as just another politician and being seen as someone on a mission from a higher power. But there's a paradox here, isn't there? The Zambian Observer pointed it out in their reporting. Sangwa and Banda project intellectual authority and legal gravitas, but they remain politically untested. Critics have been quick to pounce on this vulnerability. One political analyst wrote just days ago, the Movement for National Renewal, MNR, perhaps the most comical of all. A coalition of three visionless opportunists, Sangwa, Banda, and Salavwi. Their alliance, critics say, was brought in dead. Another observer commented, exclusive utopia and intellectual club. Unlikely that this duo will connect with the common people in our shanty townships, rural areas, markets, the hungry hustlers, Caponias on our streets between now and August 12, 2026. These are the massive voters. The question being asked is, can an elite lawyer with decades in the courtroom truly connect with grassroots voters? Or does he need the church to bridge that gap? Then there are the ethical questions. Should churches be opening their doors to political candidates? Where is the line between spiritual guidance and political endorsement? Archbishop Banda offered counsel, encouragement, and prayer. But what message does that send to parishioners who look to him for spiritual, not political, direction? There's also the matter of Sangwa's broader message. He wants Zambians to fund his campaign, to prevent what he calls foreign capture once in government. It's a populist pitch, certainly. But can he convince ordinary Zambians to bankroll a movement led by an SC, senior counsel, who until recently was one of the country's most successful lawyers? And what about the competition? President Hakainde Hichilema and the ruling UPND are watching. The fragmented opposition, from the United Kwacha Alliance to the various splinter groups, they're watching too. If Sangwa succeeds in mobilizing churches, will they follow suit? Could we see a 2026 election where every Sunday service becomes a political battlefield? The Electoral Commission of Zambia has already been dealing with controversy. Sangwa himself has been vocal, raising alarms about what he calls a chaotic voter registration exercise. He's accused the ECZ of procurement irregularities, system breakdowns, and deliberately failing to open registration centers in opposition strongholds. Some see this as principled advocacy for electoral integrity. Others see it as the groundwork for contesting election results if things don't go his way. And here's where it gets really interesting. If Sangwa can't reach his 1 million supporters by December 31st, he's already admitted it would mean Zambians don't believe in me. That's a high-stakes gamble. What happens to the MNR if they fall short? Do they dissolve? Do they join forces with another opposition alliance? Or do they press forward anyway, using the church's moral backing as their primary legitimacy? And there you have it, viewers. The story of John Sangwa's church strategy. A calculated move to harness the moral capital of Zambia's religious institutions in service of a 1 million supporter goal that will make or break his political future. Is this a legitimate grassroots mobilization effort? Or is it political opportunism dressed in spiritual garments? Is the church being used? Or is it willingly participating in the democratic process? These are questions that will define not just Sangwa's campaign, but the very nature of political engagement in Zambia as we head toward August 2026. Thank you so much for watching today's edition. I want to hear from you in the comments section below. Do you think political leaders should be meeting with church officials like this? Does the church have a role to play in politics, or should there be a clear separation? And the big question, will John Sangwa reach his 1 million supporters by the end of the year? Drop your thoughts below. Engage with each other. Let's have a real conversation about where Zambian politics is heading. I'll be back tomorrow with more stories, more analysis, and more of the truth you need to know. Until then, this is Nakash, signing off from InspirAfrica Official. Stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay true to the values that will build the Zambia we all want to see. God bless you all, and God bless Zambia.